to the Spice Girls all night. I mean, we do have good content tonight. So, you guys, happy last day of the month. I will tell you, we can all do a whoop whoop because we are closing out the highest week in Fit Foundation history this week, which is pretty crazy because what that means is a whole lot of people are being helped by these coaches on this team. And because coaches that are building businesses are always on team calls or listening to recordings, that's some of you on this call right now. And the ripple effect that we were making as a team is literally, I can't even talk about it because I'm not going to cry when I'm wearing leopard pants. That's just weird. So, you guys, I'm so excited for this team call topic. Cassie, I'm sure we'll give a little bit of backstory. But if you guys don't know Cassie, you should follow her on Instagram because I actually like cry and LOL so hard at just everything she does in her life. Like she somehow makes like a parking lot just like seem really fun and like you want to just hang out with her or something. So she's amazing and she's super ridiculously funny and so fun. But the thing that I also really love about Cassie is she came into this business and she understood this like bigger picture of kind of what this could be for her. Well beyond what I could have ever imagined she would straight out the gates. And she really took this business seriously. And she has no idea I'm going to say this, but I remember when I first realized that Cassie saw the bigger picture with this because she had gone on vacation with some of her girlfriends and she posted a picture of her like taking some unplugged time to work by the pool. And she had been a coach for like 3 weeks. And I'm like, this girl is going to do huge things. And I mean, not to like toot my own horn, but I was right because homegirl is doing huge things in this business. And the best part is she has so much fun. She loves so hard on people and you can just tell that she's authentic and committed to helping people get what they want out of their business and out of their health and fitness goals. And that's something I really deeply admire. So I'm just going to turn the time over because I feel this ramble coming on talking about how obsessed with you I am. And I just think that's just awkward for everyone to listen to me. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to Cassie, and she's going to talk to us about pushing past mediocrity, and homegirl is doing just that. So take it away, girl.
Can everybody hear me? Yay. Okay, really fast. I'm going to give the disclaimer. My Wi-Fi has been really, really weird. If I get kicked off, I will be right back on my phone, I promise. None of my roommates are streaming anything, so we should be good, but just in case, FYI. Okay, well, I'm super excited to be here and to get to talk to you guys. So let me give you just a little bit of backstory about me, and then we'll just dive right in and get started. So obviously, my name is Cassie. I'm from the Seattle area. I'm an insurance agent by day. Really like quick fun facts to know about me. I'm obsessed with my niece. She just turned 2 last week. She's my best little friend and I just couldn't be more in love with her. I love travel. I love Mexican food. I love margaritas. You guys, can I tell you how common knowledge it is that I love margaritas now? Like every time it's like National Margarita Day or like Applebee's is doing $1 margaritas or it's National Taco Day. I get tagged in like 10 things from random people on Instagram and Facebook. So fun facts. Don't be afraid to share what you love. And those are the things that I love. And I also really love The Bachelor, although not this season because Ari kind of sucks. Sorry, Lo. I know that you like him, but he's just not my jam. Anywho, so my background in Beachbody. So I got started in my very first challenge group with Keisha just over 2 years ago, right after I'd moved back from New York. So I'm from Seattle. I'm back in Seattle now, but I lived in New York for a couple of years. And we got connected in a Seahawks Fans of New York City group after I had already moved back. And she friend requested me, and I almost didn't accept it because I didn't know who she was. I clicked on her profile, and I was like, this girl seems kind of cool. But then she hey-girled me, and then I was like, stranger danger. Why are you talking to me? I don't know you. So I was a little bit short. We didn't really have a conversation. Started following her on social media. I was in this really weird emotional place after my move and had gotten kind of unhealthy. And I was never somebody who really had the reins on that. It was always something I struggled with in my adult life. So long story short, I asked her about these challenge groups. I was a resolutioner in January of 2016, and I absolutely fell in love with the challenge groups. I did 3 of them with Keisha, and then I signed up as a coach in March 11th of 2016. So we're just like a week and a half away from my 2-year coach anniversary. And I never really looked back. So that kind of segues right into what I want to talk about. Like Keisha mentioned, I kind of caught the vision for this business unintentionally and right away. I honestly don't even remember what I had in my mind that this would be when I started. I just knew that I loved these challenge groups. It came from a place of wanting to share that with everybody, because I was like, you guys, like, we are all looking for the secret, and I found the secret, and I can't not tell everybody about it. Like, I don't even know what this is going to look like. I don't know if I can do it, but like, I have to share with people because it would be so selfish not to. And then I kind of got in and I just kind of started doing everything. Keisha was like, I asked, what do you do as a coach? And she was like, go Emerald and hit Success Club. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go Emerald and hit Success Club. And so I hit Success Club my first month, and I started doing all these things. I started running groups every month, and kind of just, I never stopped, and I fell in love with it. And I was never somebody who really knew what I wanted to do with my life. There was never a career that I dreamt of. It was always kind of like, what might I enjoy doing? What would I not mind doing? So there's never been like a job that I've always felt super passionate about. And then as soon as I got into this and I started doing this job and being involved in this community and having the opportunity that we have to help people change their lives, I completely fell in love with it. And I was like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I've always been looking for. And so, so I kind of just started and never stopped. I hit Success Club every single month of my business, except for 6 months in, missed it by 1 point, and then never missed it again up until today. I didn't miss it today. I still haven't missed it since then. I've run a challenge group every single month since I started, made pretty legit side income up until now. I've been on the Success Club trip. I'm a diamond rank coach, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because you wouldn't think, given that list of things, that I was super parked in mediocrity, and yet I have been, honestly, up until this point. And so I didn't even realize that what I was doing, because I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing, right? I was a diamond rank coach, and I was hitting Success Club, and I was running challenge groups, and I had coaches under me, that I thought that it should be going faster. I was like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Why isn't this growing at the rate that I want it to? And I love my job. I'm not looking to leave I'm not, itching to leave this job that I hate, but I wanted the choices that come with building this to be full-time, to allow me to travel more, to have the choices that I wanted to, now while I'm not tied down, no kids. And then in the future, when I have a family, I knew that's what I wanted. And I knew that it was possible because I'd seen it happen, but I felt like I'm doing everything, but this isn't growing at the same rate. And it's because my bar was set too low. My bar for what was needed to make those things happen was set too low. And it was it was a combination of that, and then this weird mental thing that I had to get past, that I think I was stuck on, not realizing that I was stuck on it for a long time, where I expected my journey to mirror, I expected it to go faster. And I think that's something that a lot of us can do if you look at people in the business that you're really similar to. So Keisha's my upline. We're super, super similar. We have really similar stories, similar personalities, similar ways that we build this business. And so, I looked at her income progression, or, how quickly she was able to accomplish things. And I felt like I should be able to do that just as fast. We're so similar. Why would I not be able to? And a part of that is just, we all have different journeys, and we all come into contact with people that need us and that are going to have different stories in this business at different times. And then there's a part of it where you have to look at where your bar is set for what your non-negotiables are in your business. And if they're here, you're going to get here results, right? And if they're here, you're going to get here results. So kind of looking beyond, what are just the check marks that you might check off for somebody who's building this business, and then kind of beyond that to what do I actually need to be doing? What level of activity do I need to be doing? How much do I need to be showing up if I want to hit the goals that I want to hit in this business? So Keisha and I had a call in January, and I kind of laid all of this out for her. And I was like, honestly, I don't see it anymore. Not that I don't believe that these things are possible for me, but I don't see how it's going to happen, because I felt like I kept getting excited. I felt like I could see it. I felt like I'd have all these builders, and then they would just drop off, or you'd get coach cancellations. I'd feel like volume was growing, and then it would go back down. And I was like, I've gotten so excited so many times. I feel like this is it. Like, this is the time when the momentum is going to change, and everything's just going to be, this is when it explodes. And then you kind of come back down, and then you go back up, and then you kind of come back down. And I was like, I don't see it anymore. I know it's possible, but I don't see how it's going to happen. And I kind of started to think that something was broken. I must be doing something wrong because my journey looks different. And it's just that I wasn't doing enough. And so she shared this story with me, where if you were here over the summer when our team was pushing for 15-star the first time, Keisha was slaying signups like a freaking boss. Like she was on a roll, and she reminded me that all of these coaches that she signed up in that time when we were pushing for 15-star, every single one of them said that they wanted to build a business. I mean, I don't even know, Keisha, you type in there like how many, dozens, I don't even know. And of that, like a handful actually did. So she was like, you know, you feel like you've had all these builders come through, you feel like you've had these people come through that say all the right things and then they don't want to do it. And she was like, 26, come on. And then like a few of them are still here from that time. And so she's like, you know, how many builders do you feel like you've had that have come and gone? And it's kind of been that like, oh, you said all the right things and then it didn't actually happen. And I was like, oh, maybe like 10 in the 2 years I've been here, like 7, 8, 9, I don't know. But not, I mean, you know what I mean? Not that much. So for me,
Cassie, real quick, you're talking at our speed right now. We're like, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. But I'm sure some people are like, hold on. Okay, so just like, okay, keep going. Because this content is freaking on point. I don't want anyone to miss anything. Okay, is that wine?
Take a break to drink my sparkling water. So I get really.
I was like, are you drinking wine, girl?
Oh, no, this is sparkling water with berries. I get really amped up. If you want to know what our phone calls sound like, this is what our phone calls sound like.
Literally. I was like, I'm feeling this, and I was like, I don't think that people can write this fast because I'm trying to. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
No, that's okay. So she basically reminded me that it's a numbers game. Like there's so many things about this business that aren't about numbers, but there's some aspects of the business where you do have to look at numbers. And are you doing enough work? Is the volume there? Is your funnel of the people you're talking to, of the people that you're bringing into your challenge groups, the people that you're bringing on as coaches, is that funnel big enough, right? Because if it's not, then like when you get to the bottom of it for the results that you're looking for in terms of team building and making this long-term residual income, it's not going to be there, right? Because there's not enough going on in the funnel. And so really what that broke down to, how did that play out for me it was a two-parter. So it was a numbers game and it was a belief game. And so what that meant for me was I needed to up my numbers. Where I was making Success Club, just hitting Success Club was my non-negotiable. That wasn't going to be enough. So my new goal that we set on, that we thought that would be a good thing for me to strive for every month, was Success Club 20, which I'd literally never done before. Success Club 14 was the highest that I had ever hit before, but we were like, okay, Success Club 20, while still within that, hitting Success Club with niche girls that you are super excited about, that you could see being coaches on this team, that you would want to have on your team, not just the numbers, but who of that could I see being my person, my girl, the next rock star coach on my team. And then it was a belief game, and I honestly did not even know like that. I was like, I can't do that, but I'm an obliger. And so my mentor that I love and respect was like, you can do this. This is what you need to do. So I agreed to it. And then I was like, oh, and I don't know if I can. Like I've never done this before. Like I honestly, I don't know if I can, you know, like I feel like I've hustled before and I've never made it happen. So how am I going to make it happen now? But then I thought, how much of what I do right now at one time seemed impossible. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give it a go and I'm going to do this thing for February. And it was acting as if. It was honestly taking the first step and making this commitment to myself and to my business and to my team that I was going to show up in this way that I had not shown up before. I couldn't see it. Part of me didn't honestly believe it. But I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I went back to this logic place that I go back to a lot when I have these doubt moments where I'm like, if so many other people can do it, why can't I? Why would I be any different? Like logically, why would I be the exception to this rule? So I just kind of jumped in, and I was over sitting in that place of mediocrity. I was over sitting in this place of feeling like I'm doing the action, so why am I not getting there? I was just over it. And so I decided I was going to go for it, and I was going to make February the month that I upped the stakes and that I showed up in a bigger way than I ever had before, and that I proved myself wrong. So what then? Like I said, I acted as if. I was like, what is the confidence level of somebody who makes this their norm? And what does that person do? What's the attitude with which that person runs their business? You guys, I stopped stressing and I just went back to the basics of what excites me and what is fun. I took out the fluff and I just talked to people that I really, really liked. And I talked to people who I liked their vibe and I loved on people. And I made it about just building these genuine connections and lifting up these people that I didn't know, because the world needs that. And all of a sudden, the belief and the attitude and the joy that I was putting into it came right back out at me in the form of hitting all of my goals. It was my highest income month, my highest volume month, the least level of stress I've had in this business, the most fun I've had in this business. And guess what? I hit Success Club 24 as of like a couple minutes ago, I think. And like 8 or 10 of those points are my niche girls, random people from Instagram that I just loved on, and like exactly what I said I was going to do that I didn't think I could. And I just got rid of the noise. I got rid of the negativity. I went back to what's fun. I took out the stuff that wasn't fun. And I just focused on loving people instead of focusing on, I need to track all my Instagram conversations that stresses me the hell out. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to love on people. And that's what happened. And I started to notice that this energy that I'm putting in is exactly what comes back out at me. And I hit exactly my goals, and I couldn't even believe it as it was happening. I was like, this is like crazy. Like you've heard the saying, like what you focus on expands. And if you believe you can, you're right. And if you believe you can't, you're right. And I always kind of like, I agree, but I was kind of like, okay, well, that's like an oversimplification. Like sometimes there's other things going on, but like you guys, it's true. It is so, so true. And I still am like, it feels like a really exciting month, but it doesn't feel like some monumental month where I did things that I've never done before. I just showed up every day in my business the same way I always was, with a different attitude. I upped the bar in my mind of what I decided I was capable of, what I decided I was going to do, and it happened. And it's just what you focus on expands. And I have never lived that out in this way before. And it's just crazy to think like how my own limiting beliefs were holding me back so much for so long, like literally 2 years of showing up, of doing all the right things, but not my full potential. And where could I be if I had been doing that? Or now, since we're going to be positive about this, where will I be in 2 years now that I've learned how to make that change, versus where would I be in 2 years if I didn't learn how to make that change? And I am going to be super honest. Like in the last couple of days, I had that moment of like my limiting beliefs started to creep back in, and I was like, oh crap, I'm speaking on this call. What if this was a fluke? What if I can't do this again next month? Like that's going to be really lame. And like, I'm going to feel like such an idiot. And then I was like, no, if I decide that I can do it, I can do it. And if I show up the way I've been showing up, I can do it. And here's the thing, you're not going to have your best month every single month. And some months are going to be harder than others. Some months you're going to feel like everybody's saying yes and it's super exciting. And some months you're going to feel like everyone's saying no. But that will not determine whether or not you hit your goals. When you have a non-negotiable, that's a non-negotiable, right? Like you're going to hit your goals regardless of what other people say, regardless of how many yeses or nos you get. And that's just this mental place that you have to get to in your mind where you believe, because here's the thing, when your back is against the wall in any aspect of life, you show up. When something is truly a non-negotiable, you figure out a way to make it work, right? So why would this be any different? Honestly, like if it matters enough to you and it's truly a non-negotiable, like you're going to show up for it and you're going to find a way to get it done, even when it's harder versus easier, even when it happens faster versus when it happens slower. So it's just like the power that you have in your mind to determine how these things play out in your belief system and in your heart and in the foundation that you like kind of lay your business on, is just absolutely insane. And now that I've actually lived that out and like have truly seen what the power of that is, I just want to like smack myself up the head for like wasting all this time. But obviously, like, I don't think any time is wasted. I've learned a lot and I wouldn't be where I am today without the same journey. But now we can all learn it and then move forward, just slaying it more than we ever have before. Because when you raise your bar, you raise your standards and you raise your non-negotiables, and everything else just gets raised right along with it, right? So pretty freaking powerful. So on that, making non-negotiables actually non-negotiable, and Success Club is going to be tied in here a lot too. And this is going to get a little like passionate. I can just feel it. So just FYI. So here's the thing. If you fall anywhere on the spectrum of business building coach, you're a hobby coach, you're someone who's just looking to build a side business, you're someone who has crazy big goals, full-time financial freedom, anywhere on that spectrum, I think this applies to you. And we've overused, I think, the term non-negotiable a little bit in like recent years. We've said my non-negotiable is I'm going to send X amount of invites a day. I'm going to send X amount of Hey Girls a day. I'm going to do, I'm going to do X, whatever a day. So it might not mean as much as it should when we say it, because of the way that we've kind of tossed it around. So let me tell you what my true non-negotiables are, because I don't tell myself I have daily non-negotiable number of messages or invites anymore, because sometimes my days look different. So for me, my non-negotiables are first and foremost me, because if there's no me, then there's no business, right? So none of the other ones really matter. So I'm going to work out, I'm going to listen to personal development, and I'm going to drink my shake. Obviously, you take rest days. Obviously, there's some days that you might forget to listen to your audiobook if you're running around like crazy. But those are the constants in my life that will always be there, because it's the foundation for everything else. Me being the best me and having a full overflowing cup is the foundation for everything else, business and otherwise. And the second one is challenge groups. I will always run a challenge group, and I will always show up in my challenge groups for my challengers. True non-negotiable. That's held true for the last 2 years, and it'll hold true for forever, because that's a true non-negotiable. I will always run one, and I will always be there for the girls that have trusted me to help them on their journey. And number 3, honestly, Success Club. There's no amount of invites that I consistently do every day or every week or every month. There's no amount of adding to my network. There's no amount of hey girls, but I will always hit Success Club. It's my insurance that I never have to recover from a full stop, even when life gets crazy, which I've never done that before. I've never had that stop start thing, but I've heard from enough people who have how hard it is. And I am not interested in going through that or having to deal with that. So that's my insurance that I never have a full stop. Even when life gets hard, even when life gets crazy, there's people on this team that can hit Success Club the months that they have babies, months that they move. Brittany Crosby can hit it the month she's diagnosed with cancer. Like, even when life gets crazy, this can be a non-negotiable. And it honestly is a positive for you. It's that insurance that you never have to recover from something that's going to be really hard to recover from in your business. And it allows me to adjust my sales as I need to for different seasons, when work is crazy, when life is crazy, when I'm traveling. It allows me to adjust my activity for those times, while always making sure I have a baseline where I'm showing up for myself, my challengers, the people I said I'm here to serve, and I am here to serve, and my own business, and my emotional survival of not having to deal with like crazy rocky like ups and downs. And kind of a funny story, it was my idea that somebody talk about making non-negotiables non-negotiable when we were talking about in the Diamonds page, team call ideas and what we thought people should hear. I was like, somebody should talk about this. And then Keisha was like, oh, great. Could you put that in with yours? And I'm like, yeah, I'm an obliger. Yeah, for sure. And in my mind, I'm like, but I don't really know what to say about that. I was thinking maybe somebody else could talk about it. But I was like, okay, I can do this. That's fine. We've got this. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, what do I say? Because this has kind of just been one of those things that stuck with me early on. I never had to talk myself into making this a non-negotiable, because I saw why it was important. So I was like, okay, how do I explain this? What's the magic word? What's the magic formula? Like, how do I convey this to people? And really what I landed on is that there's no magic. It's just a decision. And it's not one size fits all. Your motivation behind that decision is going to look different based on what matters to you, based on the consequences that you're trying to avoid, based on the kind of person you want to be. There's a lot of things that motivate us based on the tendencies. You should go watch Lowe's Call, based on personality type, based on all these different things. So the reasoning might look different, but regardless of what reason gets you to that decision, it's just a decision. So you have to put on your CEO hat and figure out what is that reason that's strong enough for me to make my non-negotiables a non-negotiable, and make your non-negotiables actually non-negotiable, like the non-negotiables in your life of paying your bills. Like, you're always going to figure out a way to do that. To keep your kids alive, you're always going to figure out a way to do that, right? Like, to get to work, you're always going to find a way to, do that. So making that actually a non-negotiable, instead of just saying it's a non-negotiable and then being totally cool if it doesn't happen. So like I said, that's going to look different for everybody based on what you're motivated by. Maybe you need accountability. Maybe you need to come back to logic. Like, this is like I said, I knew that this was my insurance to never have to come back from a full stop, because that's going to be really difficult. Maybe it's avoidance of consequences in this business that you want to avoid. Maybe it's, thinking about the person that you want to be, the coach that you want to be, the future you who's crushing all these goals. Like, put on your CEO hat, look at yourself, analyze what motivates you, analyze, what excites you. And you're going to have to get to that place on your own where you can make the decision that's legit, the decision to show up, come hell or high water. This is my non-negotiable. You need to care enough to figure out what you need to make that happen, because it's not something I can give you. It's not something Keisha can give you. It's not something any leader on this team can give you. It has to come from you. And you're just going to have to ask yourself those questions. What makes you tick? What motivates you? What, all that jazz. If you care enough, you can get there. But it just takes that self-reflection, and it takes some time if that's not something that comes naturally to you to get to that place. But it's possible. And I've seen it prove to be true too many times to think that it's anything but completely possible to make this a non-negotiable regardless of your personality type, quite honestly. So Success Club. I think I've said actually before on the very first call that I ever hosted, when I talked about a lot of different things, and Success Club was one of them. Your business is your business. If you want to make Success Club a priority, that's your call. Yada, yada, yada. But I'm actually going to retract that statement. I think if you care about building this business in any capacity, it needs to be a non-negotiable. And here's what I want to say. And I'm saying this kind of in response to some comments that I've heard before, some impressions that I've gotten from people when they talk about the reasons why Success Club is hard or why it's not a priority or yada, yada, yada. Success Club isn't dirty. It's not salesy. It's not selfish. It's not weird. And if you don't believe me, then that's where you need to start, because that's going to be the attitude that stops you from hitting it every single time. And it's also not just for top coaches. It's not just for crazy high performers. Success Club is not elite. It's not on the same playing field. Success Club is for anybody who says that they're building a business. And that's why it's the metric that we have to say whether or not we are building a business. It's a byproduct of showing up for this business the way it was intended. It's a byproduct of showing up for the non-negotiables consistently and doing what you're supposed to do. And quite honestly, sorry, I just lost myself. I don't even know. If you're I get really fired up.
It's a byproduct of doing what you're supposed to do if you were building this business the way it's intended. That was the last thing I heard.
Correct. Boom. Yeah. So I want you guys to, if you're somebody who struggles with seeing how it's not selfish or not salesy, why it's important and why you can stand by it being important, why that's not something that you need to hide behind, I want to help you see it a little bit differently. So take it back a second. When you think about like fitness goals in general, we're helping people get healthy. We're helping people with fitness goals. Fitness is a science. There's got to be a professional somewhere. So if you're not linking somebody up with the professionals that know what they're talking about, they're going to get linked up with another one somewhere else if they're going to get the results that they want, because it's not something that can be YOLO'd. Most of us on this team are not the professionals, right? So like, we're just the connector. We're the cheerleader and we're the connector. Tell me what you want and I'm going to give you the tools that are going to make that happen for you. And if they don't get the professional help from you, there's a business attached to it somewhere, right? Because when you're a professional that offers your services, that's a business, right? Like there's some kind of transaction somewhere. You wouldn't expect to get good medical advice from somebody who wasn't a doctor. No, like there's got to be a professional somewhere. And so all Success Club is connecting people with the professionals that they're not. Most people that come to you for help that are like, I don't know what to do, I can't seem to make this happen, most people are not the professionals, right? So they need it. And if you skimp out on connecting them with the tools that they need because you're afraid of standing up for yourself, or you don't see the value in it, then all you're doing is a disservice to them, right? Like there's a reason why Success Club is what's been laid out for us as the metric to this business, because it just happens when we do what we're supposed to do in this business, which is connecting people to the tools that they need to be successful. You're one of the tools and the professionals are another, and people need both, right? It's like, that's why this is a life-changing, game-changing situation that we have here, is because it's not just one or the other, right? Like you need the support and then you also need the professionals. And that is what Success Club is. It's handing people the professionals that they need to be successful in their journey. Someone's got to know what they're talking about, and it's not us. So like you have to step in and like link people up with the people who know what they're talking about. And here's the thing, Beachbody isn't for everyone. Beachbody challenge groups aren't for everyone. And I have no problem telling that to people. I've had people reach out to me that are like doing crazy lifting competitions at gyms and don't want to follow any other kind of plan. And I'm like, honestly, it sounds like you're rocking, like cheer you on from afar. And I'm always here if you want to try something new, but this is what I have to offer. And it sounds like that might not be the best fit for you. And that's the truth. And I have zero problem saying that to somebody because my intention is to serve people in the way that's best for them. And there's a lot of people that are going to be served best by what we have to offer. And there's going to be people that won't be served best by what we have to offer. And that's okay, right? But there's a lot of people that need the help that we have to offer. So you have to step in and give them the help that they need, help them understand why it's important, help them understand why they need to have a professional, help them understand the value in it, help them understand the way that it can change their life, the way that it's changed your life. You have to step in and do your job, but all of Success Club is doing your job, connecting people to the tools they need, and then you get to step back and cheer them on. And thank God we don't have to come up with the workout programs. And like, thank God that exists, right? Because like, we'd all fail, most of us. Is there like fitness professional? There's a couple like fitness professionals on this team, but most of us are not that. So like, you have to step in and give people the help that they need because it's not going to come from you. I'm not going to give somebody 80-day obsession workout program. Are you kidding me? Heck no. Okay. Just like, get really hot about that, you know, like it's important. Okay. Whew, here's the thing. There's no reason that everybody on this call, everybody on this team who has a desire to help people in this business at all, one, can't hit Success Club every month, and two, like that it shouldn't be a non-negotiable for you every single month. Because if your goal here isn't to serve people, what are you doing here? Like, why are you here? If your goal isn't to serve people, how are you serving people if you're not connecting them to what they need to be successful? How are you serving people? How is that in any way salesy or dirty or gross? Are you kidding me? That's helping them. Can I tell you, how grateful are you that somebody connected you with the tools that have you sitting here right now, that have you as healthy as you are right now, that have you as happy as you are right now, that have you as fulfilled as you are right now? Like, how happy are you that somebody cared enough to show you why that was important? Probably pretty happy. Like, I'm pretty happy. You know, like we're probably all pretty happy about that. So there's literally no reason, like I honestly, it's actually really funny. When I first signed up as a coach and I was kind of learning the ropes about everything and I, you know, Success Club 5 and Success Club 10, I was like, that seems like I got the initial impression that Success Club was this prestigious, almost like elite, you know, like Success Club is this crazy high thing to accomplish. Then I was like, 3 people, like that doesn't seem very hard. So I was a little bit confused because I was like, I don't really get it because it's really celebrated on our team, right? Like we've got the Success Club shout outs and we've got people at the top of the leaderboard. So it seems like, especially as you're a new coach coming in, like, oh, this is like a star diamond rank. This is like premier or elite. Like this is something that people do that have been here for a long time. When it's like, no. This is something that you can do month 1 and you can do every month. And every person who's a Success Club all-star legend for 72 months had a month 1 through 12, 24, 36 when they were brand new and they weren't elite and they weren't star diamonds, they weren't diamonds, they didn't have a team and they weren't making bank. Like everybody just started because it's doable. And honestly, I wish there was a way to like for the company to truly make it a non-negotiable because I honestly don't see why it's not for more people because I truly believe that's the best way we can serve others. But it's completely possible. If you're putting in the work, I'm going to give 2 caveats here. If you're putting in the work and you're putting in enough work, it's a byproduct. It's just going to happen. If you're putting in the work and you're putting in enough work and there's something that's still not connecting, we need to look under the hood. Maybe it's you need to talk with your mentor. Is it that your messaging, your voice when you're messaging versus your social media isn't consistent? Is it that you're sounding too transactional? Is it that you're not asking enough questions? If you're putting in the work and it's not happening, whatever is wrong is fixable. Once you fix what's going on, when you show up, this happens. And again, it doesn't mean that it's always easy, but it means that it's always possible. You're looking at someone who's locked in Success Club on the last day of the month, on months when I hustled hard, when I was in it, when I showed up and I tried and I worked as hard as I did on months when I locked in Success Club by the 7th, right? Like there's going to be months that are just harder. And especially if you are somebody who works this business in different pockets of time, you know, you have to hustle as hard as you can in the time that you have to this business. But it's never proven been proven false to me that it's possible, even on months when it's really hard. Because like I've locked it in with 10 minutes to spare once. Pray to God I never have to do that again because it was freaking stressful. But it happened, right? And I decided that it was going to happen. And it happened. And there's so many coaches on this team, so many coaches on the network that have that story when it's truly a non-negotiable, even if you're down to the wire, even when it seems improbable, you can make it happen. So why would you be the exception who can't on the hard months, right? Like, it's a mindset thing. Have you decided that this is going to happen? Come hell or high water, I'm hitting Success Club this month. Why would you be the exception, right? Like, how much proof do you need that I'm telling you the truth right now, right? Like, there's a lot of people who have been through this. It's completely possible. If you decide that it's possible, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm doing this. I don't care how many no's I get. I'm going to get enough yeses because I've proven that that's true. And once you put in the work and you make that a non-negotiable for long enough, you have that proof to draw on, even in the hard months, right? I faced this before. I've had hard months and I still found a way to make it work. How? Because it's a non-negotiable and I wasn't going to stop until it happened. And I truly never gave up belief. And that's honestly another big part of it too, because the 1 month that I ever missed Success Club, at that time, I still said it was a non-negotiable. I was devastated when I missed it. I cried. Like, I felt like I was back to square one in my business. I was so upset. But I honestly remember my attitude the night that it happened. I had resigned that I'd missed it at like 6 p.m. I still had 3 hours, but in my mind, oh, I've missed it. I failed. I screwed up, right? Like, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. Well, it didn't happen with that attitude. But like, had I actually been in it, I have zero doubt in my mind that it would have. If I had actually given it my all and I actually treated it like the non-negotiable it was, like if I was down to the wire and I had to pay my rent to stay in my house in the next 3 hours, you'd figure out a way to make it work, right? Like, it's so much power that you have in your mind to decide your success and decide whether or not you hit your goals in this business. It's just crazy. But yeah, man, I really keep losing myself. Oh, I got a good one. The only two aspects of this business, just another thing why this is so important, literally the only two aspects of this business: work on yourself, pay it forward. Work on yourself, pay it forward. You're either paying it forward to your challengers, you're paying it forward to your coaches, but there's work on yourself and there's pay it forward. If you're not hitting Success Club and if you're not making that an important non-negotiable in your business, you're kind of missing like 50% of it, right? Like, you're not paying it forward. How are you paying it forward if you're not connecting people to what they need, right? So you just have to get it to your mind that it's not salesy, it's not gross. I think it's honestly selfish if you don't make it a non-negotiable, because how are you helping people, right? Like, I'm not a professional. If I'm not connecting people to the tools they need, how am I helping them? Honestly, like, I can cheer you on with something that's not going to get you what you want, but like that's not helpful, right? Like, I'd rather cheer you on with something that you need that's going to help you be successful and hit the goals that you want to hit in this business. And like, I can feel a lot better about that than I can be about kind of willy-nilly supporting someone in a way that's not actually going to bless them at all, right? Like, I feel like I'm doing a hell of a lot better job at being there for people, at being support for people, at being an encourager, at being a coach, if I'm caring enough to set aside my own whatever and give them what they need to be successful. I can sleep a lot better at night if I'm doing that, right? So here's the thing. Everything that I've said here, it starts and stops with you in your mind. It starts and stops with what you believe is possible, with what you believe is a non-negotiable, with what you believe you can accomplish, with what you believe you will accomplish. It comes from the belief in you or the lack thereof, right? It all starts and stops there. You have to trust that you're capable. You have to trust that what you want to do is doable. And it's like that quote. Like I said, if you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right. And you've heard it a gazillion times, but it's so true. It's so accurate. And once you live that out and you realize like that's how simple it was, literally just changing my mindset, deciding that I'm capable of more, like really that's been the problem this whole time. You're kind of going to want to smack yourself, but then you're going to feel like this whole world just got opened up to you where you don't feel limited anymore, and I thought that what I did this month, the goals that I hit was only touchable by like, by certain people, right? I was like, this isn't my story. I'm not the girl that goes over Success Club 20. I'm not the girl that signs up a bunch of coaches. I'm not the girl that finds random people on Instagram that she's obsessed with, that like she actually thinks it could be like friends in her life forever. Like, that's not my story, because it wasn't my story yet, because I didn't decide, you know what I mean? Like I hadn't done what I needed to do to open up those doors. And here's the thing, the people that you think these things are reserved for, the high Success Club numbers, the high recruiting numbers, the high income, there's nothing that they have that you don't have except a decision, right? Except belief in themselves, a higher standard for themselves. They've placed the bar higher, but there's no skill that they have that you don't have. It's literally just everything that's in here. How cool is that you have the power to change that? You can decide that that's going to be your story too. You can decide that next month is the month where I achieve X, even though I thought I could never do that, even though I said that's not me, even though I said that's impossible, even though I said I couldn't. You can literally decide that next month is the month that you flip the script. And that's pretty freaking cool, you guys. Like, you can do this, whatever your goals are, you can do this. You deserve to do this. You just have to believe it. And if you don't, you're not. But if you do, you will. And that's pretty freaking rocking. So I hope you take that with you next month. I hope you make next month your February for me. I hope you blow the lid off of everything. I hope you blow your mind with what you're capable of. I hope you take these things to heart, figure out a way to start changing your minds and your belief in yourself. Care enough to ask for help from your mentor if you feel like you're stuck somewhere. They want to help you. That's why they're there. They find joy in it. I pinky promise. It's just so possible. And I just want to see more people kind of bust through those limiting beliefs, because I know we all have them, but we don't all have to stay parked on them. So that's what I got for you guys.
You so meant, like, I just typed so many notes. I was like, my wrist was twitching. I don't know if you saw the chat, but like, everyone is obsessed with that. I freaking love this. I want to open it up for questions if we have a second. Is that okay?
Yeah,
you did amazing. You did seriously amazing. So if you have questions, type them in the chat. The first one is, do you have any personal development books that helped with those aha moments to bust through your own limiting beliefs of like mediocrity and kind of like how you pushed yourself to take it to the next level?
Honestly, no, not really. I wish I did, but it's something that I realized just had to come from me. I mean, I've read a lot of awesome personal development books, and you've probably all heard the titles of all my favorite ones before. But it's something that I had to decide in my mind that it's not just for the authors of these books that these things are true. It's not just for the person who hosts this podcast. When they say all of these things, I can't just listen to it and feel like, well, that's nice for them. I have to decide that like there's nothing that they don't have that I don't have. And I'm now choosing to believe that that is also true for me, everything that I've read. So I feel like you could really apply that to any personal development book, honestly.
Truth. And it was Elisa commented in the chat, The Big Leap. That's one of my favorites by Gay Hendricks.
Oh, that is really, really good. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Okay, can you tell like a little bit about how you actually make this work, like from a non-negotiable, like how do you make yourself a priority? Like I know what your non-negotiables are, which you talked about, but like, how do you make this work in your life where you have all of these things that you're involved with? Obviously the work of a full-time job. When do you actually do this business?
So I wake up early. My alarm goes off at 4:30 every morning. And I used to, for like months, I got in this really bad rut of like snoozing a lot. And then we started 8 a.m. session and I had to eat at 4:30. And so The 5-Second Rule, that's a really, really good book. If you've never read that, I highly recommend. I took her advice of putting my phone in my bathroom, which is like a solid 20 feet from my bed, which is right here. So I had to get up to get my phone. And I literally I was like, okay, well, I can't go back to sleep anymore. I need to eat. So I'm up. So I'm going to start working. And every single day for 41 days that we've been doing this program, I haven't gone back to sleep once. I've been able to have work time in the morning, which has been super, super helpful and like a total game changer. So I work in the morning. I get up at 4:30 and I always have a little bit of work time. Sometimes that's invite time. Sometimes it's clear my inbox time. Sometimes it's add to my network. Sometimes it's respond back to groups. It's whatever needs to happen that day. And then there's a couple nights a week that I'm not available for work for, like Bible study one night, and different commitments and stuff. But, I always know that I'm okay because I have my morning time. So even if I don't have anything in the evenings to get back, and honestly, mentally, I'm just not there in the same way. Like after work, I get excited talking to people, but I don't want to like do the stuff that's less exciting to me after work when I'm tired. So morning is like really good. I know I always have that consistent time. And then just on the weekends, basically whatever I know needs to happen will happen. So if I'm starting to feel the pressure and I haven't hit Success Club yet, then I'm going to find the time because it's a non-negotiable, right? So I think it's just that self-awareness. Yeah. I can't preach that enough, really. And I've been in this, I was talking to Lil about this today. I'm just in this season of you have to decide. You have to decide how you want to feel. You have to decide that you're not going to park in sadness. You have to decide that you're not going to park in defeat. And I've just been you just have to decide for yourself. But anyway, you really do just have to decide for yourself, whatever your whatever your non-negotiables are, that however that needs to look for you, you'll show up wherever you can and how you can, and you'll make it happen.
So awesome. Love that. Okay. Last question is like a new coach who's super excited, but hasn't taken action yet. What would you like tell them to do? If they're like, I'm really pumped, I think this could be really awesome for me, but like, and they kind of feel that.
I would say start sharing your journey and just start talking to people. We overcomplicate it, but that's literally the biggest two parts of this, especially as a new coach when you don't have a lot of the other things to worry about occupying your time, other responsibilities that come as your business grows. You literally share your journey, start talking to people, and be excited. Like genuinely be excited. Think about what excites you in this business. Make it fun for yourself because it's really very simple. It's literally sharing and talking to people and inviting them. And if you can do those two things, like you're going to be there. But go Emerald and hit Success Club for Coach Month 1.
Boom. Boom. So many mic drops. That was absolutely amazing. I'm going to get this recording posted in the team page in the next couple of minutes here. Thank you guys for being on live. Cassie, thank you so much for that content. You had so many one-liners. I literally have 10 quotes that I wrote down. And
sorry for the motor mouth, but I'm glad you jumped in.
I mean, I loved it the whole time. It was pumping me up. So anyways, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Cassie. Love you all. See you guys in the team page. Mwah. Closing out the most epic week. If you haven't hit Success Club, you have 1 hour and 14 minutes.
You have more than an hour. You have an hour and 13 minutes. So do not throw in the towel on yourself.
An hour and 14 minutes, a lot can happen in an hour and 13. Yeah. Okay, love you all. Mwah. Bye, guys.